What is up, everybody? We are 9 subscribers away from hitting 100K. I'm literally just sitting here in the office right now. We are 9 away, and this kind of sucks because right now, oh god, okay, there you go. It kind of sucks because I'm the only one at the house right now. So Gabe's at work and Joe's at work right now, and I'm the only one in the house. And so I'm gonna be celebrating by myself until they get here. But we're 9 away. This is beyond freaking awesome. It feels like just a couple weeks ago that I was telling Gabe that we're at 50,000 subscribers and we were just celebrating 50,000. Come on, we just need 9 more. 9 more, 1 more. Come on. Yeah! Yes! Okay, that is official. We hit 100,000 subscribers. Dude, I'm so excited. Look at that. Look at that. 100,000 subscribers.
100,000 subscribers.
100,000 subscribers. That is a ton of people. This is insane. We honestly did not expect to hit 100K this fast, so let's go ahead and take y'all back to 3 years ago when we started the channel. Alright, so this right here is my very first car in my senior year of high school. Awesome little car, 1994 Mazda Miata. We actually started out doing a diff and transmission fluid oil change in the high school parking lot. This went great. This guy right here, this is actually Seth. He was one of my high school buddies, more on him later. But yeah, and as you guys can tell, I had to take my shirt off because I thought it'd be entertaining and we didn't have a rag because this is a Novice garage. And just so you guys get a quick comparison of how bad the editing used to be, here's a quick clip of the audio from this video.
It's a lot easier than this, but I'm cheap. So.
Yep, pretty bad. Fast forward several months and we start doing videos like these. The kid hauling ass down the hill with the watermelon helmet? Yep, that's Ian, aka Jack.
It's breaking, dude. Look, parts are flying off of it. Oh my god.
Being broke high school students, we really didn't have much money at all, so we were constantly looking for ways to have fun on a budget. So we started a series called Downhill Power Wheels. It involved going to Goodwill or whatever yard sales we could find and picking up old used Power Wheels meant for children for next to nothing and ripping the motors out of them. We had this notorious hill by our house called the Bear Creek Hill. This thing was freaking steep.
You're hauling ass. I know, dude.
Most of us ran across country in high school and we would run up this thing during class, but we decided it would be a great idea to go ahead and sit on these Power Wheels all the way down.
Oh, it's breaking, dude. Look, parts are flying off of it. Oh my god.
So we kept on posting silly budget videos and some of them started getting some actual view counts. So at some point within here we actually became monetized and we earned enough money to buy a DJI Osmo. This thing was freaking amazing. It was a gimbal with a camera and it made everything look like a freaking movie scene. It looked great. After we had the camera, the first big video we shot with that was the No Fucks Given Slam to Cord video. Even though the videography was amazing on this video, I didn't know how to fix the audio. This video got even more views than the previous videos and it made about $600, which being a high school student, that was a crap ton of money.
That was a lot of fun.
Right around this time is when Zach actually came in on the channel, and I remember the first video that had us two in it that actually got some good views was driving the $275 Civic.
The crap box.
This was your first car, right?
It was my very first car, and I would love to get that car back. Well, that car was a piece of crap. It was a lot of fun. But I would love to get that car back just because I had so much fun with it. That car literally burned more oil than it did gas.
Yep.
And that's pretty bad.
I'd say so. So our next big hit was dealer tries to sell us crap Corvette. This was actually the first video to net over 1 million views.
Yeah. When we got there was jumper cables right next to us, a little jumper box. The car wouldn't start up when we first got into it to try to test drive it. It was just completely horrible. It was a bad deal.
But it got a lot of views, and a lot of views equals a lot of money. So what did we do with that money? We did two things. We bought a 4Runner, and we went to California, and that was an awesome experience.
I'm just happy we didn't drive the 4Runner to California.
So for everyone that don't know, Tyler Fialco is the owner of the No Fucks Given Slammed Miata. And we actually got to meet up with them when we were visiting California. Tyler was super cool. He gave, well, me rides in both events. Sorry, Zach. Sorry, buddy. There was only 2 seats.
I was so jealous the whole entire time.
I'm sorry.
I'm just sitting here with the camera like, oh yeah, let's go for a ride. Okay. I'm just sitting in the corner like,
Anytime now.
my turn.
Anytime now. Is it
My turn?
Yeah.
No, I was,
It's okay.
I was like, you mother.
But shout out to Tyler Fialco for hanging out with us and letting us do a little video on him. And that video actually got 100,000 views, I think.
Yeah,
Something like that.
It was really just completely random. Like, we just got to California and then we just randomly hit up Tyler and said, hey, we're in California and just see if you wanted to hang out. And then his reply was, you guys like to party. And that was funny.
And hell yeah, we like to party.
And we went out partying with them for a little bit, for that whole entire night. And then I think it was like the next day or a couple days later, we met up with him again and did that video right there. And he was genuinely a very cool guy, and it was a lot of fun.
So at this point, we have been several months out of high school, freshly graduated, and you're probably asking yourself for a while now, what happened to all the original members of the channel? So we had a couple main people on the channel. First one was Seth. He's no longer on the channel. After high school, we all kind of went our separate ways with Seth. We still talk to him. He's doing very well right now. He built a career in aviation, so Seth's doing good. The other guy on the channel was Cameron. He had the 2-wheel drive 4Runner, and again, we went our separate ways. We don't really talk to Cameron too much, and we don't know what he's up to. Brennan and Ian were also predominantly on the channel.
Good deal, Jack. Today we're looking at my 2002 Honda Civic Si with the K20A swap.
We still talk to them a lot. We're really good friends with them.
You didn't let me finish my sentence. Yeah. What's up, Novice Garage here. Finally got the AEM FIC for the Scion TC.
But unfortunately, their work schedules keep them from being in videos, and they just, whenever you graduate high school, life gets complicated. And then since then, it's been your boys Zach and Gabe. And Joe, we'll get to you in a second. And as most of y'all know, the third current Novice Garage channel member is Joe. He was a subscriber and he was watching one of our videos. Long story short, he shot me a DM on Instagram asking if I wanted a car amplifier because I needed one at the time. So we met up. I thought it was kind of weird, but he was super nice. I took the amp, shook his hand, thanked him for being a subscriber, and went on my way. A couple months later, a couple weeks later, I ran into him again at a meet we hosted, and again, he was super nice. And whenever we went to a drift event, he would always be there, and like he always asked like if we needed something. Like Joe went out of his way to be nice and like helpful, and I could tell he was being genuine. So obviously we became friends. All three of us became friends. Ever since we met Joe, he's stuck around the channel and he's really helped out a lot. He is our primary cameraman. Most of the time whenever we're not holding the camera, Joe's holding the camera. Joe, even though he's not here tonight, we thank you. You're an awesome friend and we really appreciate you being on the channel. So get all teary-eyed. So now this next part, guys, is a little bit emotional. We aren't really going into our personal lives too much because this is more just a background on the channel. But this next part, we felt like we needed to include it in this video. So
a lot of y'all have known I've been on this channel for a good amount of time. A lot of the channel, there's things that you guys see a lot of it of our personal own life because we put a lot of our personal life on this channel. There's a lot of things you guys didn't see and have yet to even hear about. So this past year, it's been a very difficult year, honestly, but it's been a very great year at the same time. It's kind of like a little short time lapse story of it. The very beginning of the year, I was living out in Dallas. I was doing good, and I decided to move home. And we ended up getting in the car crash, the Saab.
I wrecked. Gabe's okay, I'm okay. Fuck, dude.
Which a lot of you guys have seen the video. But unfortunately, ever since the Saab incidents, it put me into a downhill spiral. emotionally and physically speaking wise. This whole year has been pretty hard. I'm not gonna lie. After the first crash, I damaged my body kind of bad. 6 bulging discs in total in my spine from that accident. And as I was going through that process of healing, I was dealing with a lot of depression, a lot of anxiety. I've had depression for a very long time. So the depression part, it was really hard. And then it goes to the pain part, the physical part. It was so bad where I could barely even stand. And that put me down in a more depressed mind state of it. But thankfully I had your boy here that's behind the camera right now, literally driving me to every single of my doctor's appointments, driving 45 minutes to pick me up, and then driving me back home to go to my doctor's and all that for the whole entire sob incident. Well, short of that, I started feeling better, I started doing good, I built my strength back up, I went through the fire academy. I did a lot of great things and I was back to my normal self, I was feeling great, and then I had this crash. So this is like a Saab 2.0. In that time period before the motorcycle crash, I was living at home. It wasn't that great of a living situation. And before I go even further, I just want to say this. I'm not trying to sound disrespectful or ungrateful to anybody I speak of or you might think I'm speaking of. I'm not trying to be disrespectful or anything like that. It's just, I wanted to share this with you guys, and this has been something that I've been putting off for a very long time because I really hate talking about this because it really just, it's kind of emotional and I don't like getting emotional. But anyways, after the first car crash, I was living at home because I had to move back home. I couldn't work, I couldn't do nothing. I was basically a couch. I couldn't get up. That's how much pain I was in. So the living situation, it got bad. It got bad to the point where I decided to live in my Jeep. And I was living in my Jeep for about 2.5 months, which you guys didn't even know that at the time. I was literally living in the back of Big Red. You know, I had my blankets set out, I had a little space heater inside of there. I was living in my Jeep. At the same time, still going to the doctor's appointments, trying to get my back healed, and also at the same time working, and then also going through the fire academy because everybody told me I couldn't do it, and so I did it just to prove everyone wrong. So in that time period, I was living in my Jeep, going through the fire academy, working, going to school for the academy, studying, and then it got to the point where I moved to a family member's house. It was a very bad house. It needed to be torn down. It really did. It wasn't that great. You can kind of cut to like some of the footage there. This is probably a few months down the road, but a few months back actually, since we're talking about the past now, I guess. So pretty much ever since the car wreck, this is where I was living at after I was homeless for about 2.5 months. So this is actually where I was living at, in this little shack. Oh, shut the door. So this is literally where I was living at. It's not the best place to be living at because it's really not healthy. It's pretty run down. This is where I was sleeping at. I was sleeping on this couch before Mom gave me this bed, and so this is where I was sleeping at after they gave me the bed. And so this is my clothes there that I'm about to grab, my blankets I'm about to grab. But yeah, this is pretty much where I called home for a good amount of time. Come over here is another part of the house. I mean, you can obviously tell it's not really ideal living. And then this is the bathroom. Oh, is that glass? Yeah, there's glass. And there's a shower that doesn't work because there's only water works as sink and toilet. So that's great. But yeah, this is pretty much where I called home for a good amount of time after the car wreck. But yeah, and then need to grab that actually.
On to bigger and better things, right?
Oh yeah. And can't really tell.
Here, let me get a flashlight.
Yeah. See, and this is the kitchen area, which I never use besides using that microwave right here. This is literally how I cook my food. Microwave. But, yeah. Backyard that doesn't work because it's sealed shut. And which reminds me.
Y'all actually keep food in there?
No.
Oh.
I just keep the rum in there.
Okay. Guys, this is also where we used to live stream. Like literally on this couch.
Yeah, on the couch we use that as like a little stand, and that's where we did our live streaming at. Definitely not the greatest place to live at, but it was a roof over my head because before I was living here, I was actually living in the Jeep about 2.5 months. And so, I mean, it was a lot better than sleeping in the Jeep. It got really cold during the winter in the Jeep, but it was comfortable-ish. Pretty much where I called home for a good amount of time. And I don't know, so in my eyes, it could be a lot worse. I could still be sleeping in the Jeep, but I mean,
It can always be worse.
oh yeah, always be worse. You wouldn't. It could be worse where you didn't have a place to sleep, you didn't have a vehicle to sleep in or anything like that. It could be a lot worse. But yeah, so I'm just gonna grab my shit, throw it in the Jeep, and grab all my other stuff out of the shop, my welder, parts, doors, and crap like that. What I would say is just don't take things for granted. I mean, yeah, things might seem really, really rough, seem really, really bad, and like you might not have 20, 30 bucks to your name like I do, but it could always be worse. Just always be positive and think of what else is to come. Like literally what's gotten me through all this hard time is every single night before I go to sleep, I always tell myself, one day it's gonna get better. One day I'm gonna have a nicer house. I'm gonna have my own place to call my own home, and one day I'll have when I get off work, I'll be actually looking forward to come home, and not looking forward to just come home to a piece of shit place, kind of like this, and just run down place. Living better and living healthier. So I mean, there's always that one little tiny chance that things will get better. You just gotta hang on to that little tiny chance, because if you don't, then it sucks. You always gotta have faith. Not like faith in religious or anything like that. I mean, you can be religious about it. I mean, I am somewhat, but you just gotta be positive and optimistic. And that's a lot coming from me because I'm not really that optimistic.
You're not optimistic, I'm not patient.
Yeah, he's not patient. I'm not optimistic, but I mean, she'll get better in time. It really just takes time. You just gotta be patient. You just gotta work hard for what you want, and things are getting better. So.
This is kind of like the first time Zach has really shown or talked about, you know, where he's been living, and I think it's kind of important. We talked about it. I think it's kind of important to just share it with you guys and just, you know, let it be known that, you know, there's a lot of struggle to get to where we are now, and, you know, like we said earlier, going through that struggle definitely helps you, because as Zach said, living with almost basically nothing really puts a different perspective on the way you look at life in general.
It wasn't great. It was very bad. It was honestly the worst place. I felt so down and it was physically and emotionally very tearing me down. So after that, I moved back to my parents' house, and it was great. I'm very grateful for my parents. If it wasn't for them, I would have never had a house over my head while I was healing through my car crash. After moving back to my parents' house, I started working out here in Fort Worth, in the Fort Worth area, and in the process, I was riding the R3 for a while, and this lady decided to cut me off in the middle of traffic, and it caused me to crash into her at 40 miles an hour. And so I got back up to here to where I was feeling good physically and I was feeling good mentally. I was in a very positive mindset, and then to where I just basically hit a brick wall. It just sucks because this whole year is honestly, it's been pretty rough. To get over and to get done with all that pain that I felt from the first crash. Been doing good. It's just the feeling of having continuous pain every single day, all night long. It's hard. And it honestly truly sucks, and it's something that I wish no one has to experience, but it's some things you can't control. Like this crash, I couldn't control it. And also, the one other things that I really did wanted to include of reaching out and talking to somebody if you're depressed, if you're going through some rough times. Talking to a professional is very good. It's one thing I highly suggest doing. But if you don't feel comfortable in that, I just want to say, me personally, I'm a very non-judgmental person. I've gone through a lot of things and gone through depression for a very long time. And so a lot of people don't feel comfortable talking to their friends or talking to someone they barely know. If y'all ever need anything or anything like, just even to talk about something that's going through in your lifetime or you're going through something right now, I will put a link in my Instagram, and feel free to message me on Instagram and to talk about anything else going on in you guys' life. You guys having a real down time, if you guys are depressed, or your dog just passed away, because my dog passed away a few months ago, so I couldn't really talk to anybody about that. But if you guys want to talk to me about anything, what's going on in your life, feel free to DM me on Instagram, and I will do my absolute best to respond to every single one of y'all's messages, and I do that all the time. But just feel free to talk. I'm always open to talk to anybody about what they're going through, or try to at least help somebody go through a rough time, because I completely understand where you guys are at. I understand what you're going through. Might be similar, might not be similar, but I'm always open to talk. I just wanted to add that a little bit.
Well, this video was a wild ride, wild roller coaster of emotions, but
Yeah, it was. It was.
Yeah.
Very.
We promise this will be the one, if not only video that has like kind of like a really sad vibe to it, but we felt it was important to let you guys know. Next video we will be back to our normal car content. Yep. If you guys are new here, subscribe. Each video is not like this, but like I said, we needed to put this out there and let y'all know. So
because we put our lives, basically our lives, on the internet, and we're both very open of what's going on.
yeah.
But with that being said, thank you so much.
For 100,000 subscribers.
Yes. Thank you so much for the 100,000 subscribers. That is absolutely amazing. It literally feels like a couple weeks ago that we were at 50,000 subscribers. And when we hit 50,000 subscribers, we were literally at Starbucks uploading the video and celebrating it at Starbucks. And now we're celebrating it at our new home. All thanks to you lovely people.
Exactly.
That make this happen.
Hashtag road to 1 million. Well, technically 500,000 first. So let's see how fast we can do it.
Alright boys, deep breath.
Again guys, thank you for 100,000 subscribers. That is crazy. To celebrate, we are starting personal channels to kind of give you guys more perspective of all the crazy stuff that goes on in our lives. And also we're starting our very first podcast tonight, which by the time you're seeing this video, it's probably already up. So click the link in the description below. And with that said, we will see y'all in the next video. Again, thanks for 100K. Let's make it 1 million. See y'all soon.